Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. How are you guys doing today? I trust your day was great. I trust you won today. We are just finalizing our setup so we can start and just move with some good speed. All right, it's been a great series so far. It's been a great time having this conversation with you, walking through these different lives and this series. We are still talking about the Disciplined Life series, and this is episode number 5. Episode number 5. A title for this talk tonight is Consistency is Boring. That's why it works. Consistency is boring. That's why it works. There's something most people won't admit. They don't quit because things get hard. They quit because it gets boring. The excitement fades very quickly. The results slow down. The progress becomes quiet. And suddenly, the thing that was supposed to change their lives feels ordinary. If you can still remember very well, there's one of the live we did. We talked about not allowing emotion be on the driver's seat. Emotion was not supposed to be on the driver's seat. All right? Your brain should be thinking. Clear thoughts is what is supposed to be on the driver's seat and not emotion. And suddenly, the thing that was supposed to change their life feels ordinary. Now, that's when people leave. Not because it didn't work, but because it stopped entertaining them. And discipline was never meant to entertain you. Discipline is not entertainment. It was meant to build you up. Discipline was meant to build you. Now, think of this life moment where the gym stops feeling exciting. You're no longer excited to go to the gym. Your routine that works feels repetitive because you know how the things, how the result, you know what's going to come out, you know everything. You feel bored. Nobody's commenting on your progress anymore. The initial praise has all disappeared. All the charade is all gone. Now you're working in a very repetitive nature. Hello, Joax. I see you. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Nothing went wrong in these scenarios I just painted. It just stopped being new. And most people mistake normal for failure. Like we did say, this is still the Disciplined Life series. And today we're talking about consistency is boring. And that's why it's working. Consistency is boring. That's why it's working. As usual, I always break this talk into segments. So segment number 1, just be very fast. Why people confuse excitement with progress. Now, in the beginning, everything feels new. In the beginning, everything feels new. Once you just starting, everything feels new. New routine, new focus, new excitement. The energy level is high. But progress doesn't stay exciting. Progress is repetitive. And it becomes, if you have to grow from that high energy, your progress have to become repetitive. And progress exposes intention. Progress exposes intention. Most people don't quit because they are incapable. Hi, Matt. Hey, thank you so much, Andy. I see you. Thanks for joining. Most people don't quit because they are incapable. They quit because they are chasing a feeling, not a future. So most people don't quit because they are incapable. They quit because they are chasing a feeling, not a future. All right. This happens when someone switches diets every few weeks. Someone starts reading but never finishes a book. Someone keeps changing plans instead of staying consistent. They are not uncommitted to growth, I dare say. They are committed to novelty. People like new stuff. Ahmad Hassan, I see you. Thanks for joining. Now let's go to segment number 2. The moment consistency is tested. A lot of people say I'm consistent. I'm consistent. I hear that a lot. People say I'm consistent. Matt, I'm consistent. Now, there's a point where consistency gets tested. There's a specific moment consistency is put to test. It is when no one notices you. There's nothing dramatic happening to you. Your results are not obvious yet. Now you've been working on something all by yourself. Nobody is seeing you. Nobody notices what you're doing. All right? The results are not, there's nothing dramatic happening. But you just started. You just started. Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you, guys. Now you just started. There are no results coming out. That is when consistency is tested. That is when consistency is really, really tested. All right. Most of the time, when people are seeing you, people are talking about you, there's applause in what you're doing. You feel, oh, everything is working. As at that time, anyone can be inspired. Anyone can do something inspiring. All right. Now, if you are in a point where no one notices what you're doing, nothing dramatic is happening, your results are not yet obvious, you're grinding, you're still at the beginning of what you're doing, you're doing the work, but it's invisible. That's the moment discipline steps forward. And a lot of people, they don't wait. Because once they are doing the work and it's invisible, they want to move to the next level. They want to move to the next thing. So they don't wait. That is when consistency is put to the test. Discipline doesn't ask, is this exciting? No. Discipline doesn't ask, is this exciting? It asks, is this necessary? What I'm doing right now, is it necessary? That's the question discipline asks. All right. So sometimes you're like studying when there's no exam yet. We talked about that in one of the other talk we're having the other day. You study when there's no exam. You're saving money when there's no emergency. You're showing up on time when no one checks. Praying when you don't feel spiritual. Now, these things I just talk about, there are different things that helps you build consistency. Consistency is tested in the unseen, when things are not seen. That is when consistency is tested. All right, let's go to segment number 3. Why is it that, because if you're used to this channel, you know most of the time I say consistency is boring. That's why it works. It's boring. It's boring. Why boring routines create extraordinary lives? Hey, hello, Shankar Paul. Every stable life you admire is built on boring routines. Every stable life you admire, any stable person you think about today, his life is built on boring routines. Same wake up time, same standards, same habits. Not because they lack imagination, but because they value peace over chaos. One of the things we talked about yesterday, we said discipline brings you peace. Discipline brings you peace. You're peaceful because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. All right, they value peace over chaos. Consistency removes drama. A lot of people say, "Oh, Matt, I'm finished. I have a lot of drama in my life." I had a lot of drama in my life. I have so many things I'm thinking about. All right, consistency removes drama, and drama is what keeps people stuck. You know, a lot of people are stuck because of the drama that they and a lot of people love drama. A lot of people love drama. Drama is not discipline, and drama is not it fizzles out so quickly. It's not something that happens consistently. Now think about families that feel calm. Think about that, families that feel calm, people who manage stress well. Think about that, people who manage stress well. Think about individual who rarely feels overwhelmed. Have you seen that guy in your place of work or in your community or in your church somewhere? He rarely feels overwhelmed. Bob Z said, royal family are pretty calm. Well, okay. They are calm because they are consistent, I would say. Because they've been able to build a level of discipline into their routine. So they know what to do, they know what to expect. All right, they know what to expect. Okay, their lives aren't exciting though. Now I'm going to talk to Bob Z. Their lives, the royal family, their lives aren't. It's not exciting. They are not like Cristiano Ronaldo. They are not like Lionel Messi. No. They live a very predictable life. All right, they are predictable. Like they know they have a plan. They have a schedule. They have a routine. They have a routine. So they know exactly what they need to do. That is why they are calm. That is why they know. That's why they have results. But somebody in the picture or in the mold of a Cristiano Ronaldo, he most of the time he doesn't live in that consistent world because there are so many things he needs to get involved in. But the royal family that you pointed out, they will always remain calm because they live a very good life and a very consistent life. Now let's look at segment number 4. Consistency builds identity. You don't become consistent by trying harder. I've said that so many times. Consistency is not intensity, guys. Consistency is not intensity. You don't become consistent by trying harder. You become consistent by becoming predictable. Predictability is part of consistency. You become consistent by becoming predictable. Predictable even to yourself. When your actions stop surprising you, trust grows. When your own actions stop surprising you, trust grows. If you do remember, one of the lives we had sometime in the week, we said one of the issues a lot of people have is that you don't know when you start losing self-trust. And we say when you start losing self-trust is when you don't keep to your own words. When you don't keep to your own words. All right? But when your actions stop surprising you as a person, then trust starts growing. And trust changes how you see yourself. Consistency isn't what you do. It is who you become. Consistency is who you become. You know, in your real day-to-day life, this is when you start saying things like, I'm the kind of person who shows up. You know, I'm the kind of person who shows up. I don't negotiate with myself anymore. I decide on what I want to do and I keep to it. I don't negotiate with myself anymore. I make a plan and I stick to it. This is just how I live now. Like this is me. So you tell no matter what happens, you say this is me. I don't have to renegotiate every day over because something is not happening, something is not working out. No, I don't have to do that. Now I understand myself. Consistency makes you you now know your identity. You know that this is who you are, this is what you stand for. Identity shifts quietly, not dramatically though. Identity shifts quietly, not dramatically. Let's look at segment number 5. some real examples that we can relate with. Think about people who start strong and fizzle out. They start strong and they disappear. This is still the beginning of the year. Today is the last day of January. We're still starting the year. There are people that are still fired up right now. They are still very fired up. Oh, I have plans, I have goals, I have vision. They even have a vision board. They have all the fun stuff that you need. They are very fired up. But one thing is that they start strong, and what happened? They disappear. Think about you. Bob said, let me use you as an example. Think about what happened in January. You're like, oh, I'm going to go into the gym. I'm going to go into the gym. You know, I'm fired up. I'm going to buy a program. I'm going to learn this course. Now you register in the gym, you get new runners, you get new shoes, you go in there, social media engagement, you're taking photos, you're showing yourself. Then before you know it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you're like, I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling weak. I'm feeling tired. This gym is becoming too hard. It is not about starting strong. It's about finishing strong. It's about going all the way through. That's what discipline helps you do. And the peace in discipline that helps you see through your plans, see through your vision, see through your goals is consistency. And we just said consistency is boring. That is why it works. Consistency is not what you call it, sparks that fills you with new ideas. No, it is repeatable things that works. You do it over and over and over and over and over again. Think about people who change routines every month. Think about people who change routines every month. They are not stable. They are not stable. That's a way to tell an unstable person. Or you think about people who always restart. Tomorrow morning is gonna be 1st of February. It's already February in some parts of the world. A lot of people are thinking, oh, this did not work in January, I'm gonna restart. Why most of the time restart is good, but is restart actually the issue, or you're not being consistent enough to make things work? Now, these people I'm talking about, they're not lazy. They're not lazy for sure. They're addicted to novelty. They like new stuff. They like the fire that comes with something starting new. So they're addicted to novelty. If something is old, if something is repetitive, if something is boring, they can't do it. So such people are not consistent. They are not calm. You don't see calmness around them. Their mind is they're always thinking of what's the next new idea. So they're jumping from ideas to ideas. So they don't even see anything through. They don't see any goal through. They don't see any plan through. They're just moving from new stuff to new stuff. Novelty is an addiction to them. They want progress without repetition. These people want progress without repetition. But repetition is the cost of mastery. If you want to be a master, you need to do what you need to do over and over and over and over again. You don't do it once and go away. That doesn't make you a master. Mastery can be achieved by repetition. And when you do things over and over again, you'll become consistent. All right? Consistency doesn't feel powerful at first. No. At first, it doesn't feel powerful. It feels ordinary. In our day-to-day life, this shows up when people buy new planners instead of fixing habits. So you buy new planners. Oh, or you buy a new program. I'm going to start a new gym program instead of fixing the habits that makes you drop off the other one before. Or you jump from podcast to podcast without applying anything. In this day and time, when you have a million and one podcasts, the same way you're listening to this, to what Matt is saying, the same way you listen to what Jake is saying, the same way you listen to what Florence is saying, the same way you listen to what Luca is saying. But the problem is that you're not applying anything. You're just listening, but there's no application. You're jumping from one podcast to another podcast. You're even subscribing for podcast to podcast. But application is not there. Because you like novelty, you like new stuff. In our everyday life, you hear people keep saying this time will be different. This time will be different. Anytime you hear someone say this time will be different, this time will be different, watch it closely. Nothing changes because consistency never stays long enough to work. They are always interested in what is new, what is latest. So you don't see any visible change. Think of those people in your world. Think of your friends. Think of those you grew up with. Think of those family members that are addicted to novelty, that are addicted to new things, new ideas, new thoughts. Think of them over time. What have changed in their lives? You can tell me, you can go ahead and say, hey, Matt, for sure, nothing has changed. It is the same guy I've always known. Now, what's the reason? That guy is not a master of anything. He's never consistent. He jumps from podcast to podcast, from community speech to community speech. He jumps from class to class. He takes one subject to another subject. He never applies what he learns. He never applies what he learns. So he's not consistent. Segment number 6, why disciplined people look calm. One of the things I talked about when Bob Nair was talking about the royal family, where it was typing about the royal family, that they always look calm. One of the ways to know disciplined people is that they always look calm. The reason is that they are not constantly adjusting. Disciplined people are not constantly adjusting. They are not moving from idea to idea. No. They are not jumping from one new idea to the next new idea. No. They don't live in reaction mode. They don't live in reaction mode. Hello, Matep squad. I see you. They don't live in. They have fewer decisions to make because they already decided. We're talking about disciplined life. And this particular series is consistency is boring. That's why it works. Disciplined people looks calm because they don't jump from idea to idea. They are not adjusting over everything. And they are not reacting. They don't live in that mode. That's why they look calm always. Consistency removes internal conflict. When you're consistent, you know what to do because you've already decided. Your action is not based on what is happening today. No. Your action is based on what the decision you already took. So you're not firefighting. You're not working in firefighting mode. No, you're not reacting. You're working from a position of a plan. That is what consistency does for you. It removes internal conflict. And when internal conflict is gone, peace follows clarity. We talked about that in the previous live. If you've not seen it, please go check the live. Go to my channel and check the live session. You see the recordings there. We said peace follows clarity. You see, in real life, you see consistent people, they don't ask, should I go today? Should I go or should I not go? Do I feel like it? Do I feel like this? Do I feel like that? They've already decided. So there's less debate, there's less friction, and there's more peace. Segment number 7. Why most people never see results. This is very important for me. While I was thinking about this talk, this segment is very important. Why most people never see results. Most people stop too soon. You're doing something, you stop so soon. Now, it's not because they failed. The stopping is not because they failed, but because they don't stay long enough for the compound effect to work. They don't stay long enough for the compound effect to work. So you just started something new. Because you are addicted to novelty, you move on to the next new idea. Oh, there's a next new big thing in town, you move on there. Whatever you're doing before, you abandon it and move on. Most people stop so soon. That's why they don't see result in their life. And it's not because they fail. No, it's not because they fail, but because they don't stay long enough for the compound effect to work. There's the law of compounding. When you don't stay long enough for the compound effect to work, you will not get the result of compounding. Consistency works quietly, guys. Consistency is not noise making. It's not jumping everywhere. It's not being addicted to novelty. It works quietly. It's boring, but it works because actually you know the routine. You know and you're operating from a point of a plan. You're not operating from a point of, oh, you're not reacting. You're not firefighting. A consistent person is always calm because of these things. You see, by the time people notice the results, the discipline has already been practiced for a long time. By the time people notice the result, the discipline has been there for a while. Whoever we see today, whoever we see that is exceptional in whatever they do, is not just a one-off thing. They didn't just become exceptional overnight. There are long hours of working behind the scene. They put in long hours that we don't see. They sacrifice a lot. They do a lot behind the scenes. When we start seeing the result, it means that person has been working for a long time in silence. There's no shortcut to that. There's no shortcut. There's no 5 ways to get rich, 5 ways to to that. It has to be, you have to put in the work. You know, in real life, people often say you got lucky, right? You say, oh, that happened very fast for you, nigga. That happened very fast for you. Nigel, you got lucky. John, you got lucky. James, you got lucky. That happened fast. Matt, you got lucky. What they don't see the boring days where you have to repeat things over and over and over and over again. They don't see the quiet repetitions. They don't see the months with no visible progress. Friends, results don't arrive on the first day. No. Results don't just show up. No. Results arrive late. Discipline starts early. Results arrives late. Discipline starts early. So let's go to segment 8. And like you always know, if you've been used to this live, I always ask you a question that reveals a lot. So this is my segment for that question. Let me ask you something honestly. Please don't answer. This is for you. If nothing changed except your consistency, where would your life be in a year? If nothing changed except your consistency, where would your life be in a year? Can you predict that? Same effort, same routine, no quitting. Just staying, you keep on doing what you're doing. That answer should tell you everything. That answer should tell you everything. The ingredient for mastery, we said, is consistency. So if in the next 12 months you put in effort, and you put in the effort on just the same thing in the next 12 months, how will your life look like? This is where people realize I wasn't missing information. I was simply missing patience. I wasn't missing help. I was missing patience. I wasn't missing how to do what I needed to do. I was simply missing patience. Consistency isn't exciting, friends. It's not. Consistency is stabilizing. It makes you stable. And stability is what allows growth to last. When you're stable, you're not tossed for to and fro. No. You're able to stay, mature in what you're doing, become a master of what you're doing. That's what allows growth to last. This is disciplined life, friends. And this is where discipline becomes a way of living. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to meet again tomorrow. We're going to have this conversation again. Please, if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly do that. And also watch the past lives and let us know how you feel about it. Let us know your thoughts. Comment under the videos. And if this resonates with you, kindly share it with somebody. Don't sit on it alone. Thank you so much. This is Matt Miller signing out for the night. Peace. See you tomorrow.